Every history book tells a story, but not every story tells the truth. They were called monsters, tyrants, madmen. But behind every evil name lies a beating heart, a human story, buried beneath centuries of lies, fear, and power. Today, we peel back the layers of time. We strip away the legends and face the truth. Because sometimes the real story is darker than the myth. This is the truth behind history's most infamous figures. Rome, the city of marble and madness, a city on fire. Flames devour the skyline and smoke paints the heavens black. And there, in the chaos, stands a name whispered for centuries, Nero. History says he watched it all burn, laughing, playing his violin as Rome turned to ash. But what if I told you that story is a lie? Nero wasn't in Rome when the fire began. When he returned, he opened his palace gardens for the homeless. He sent aid, organized relief. So how did he become the villain of the empire? Politics, enemies, propaganda. After his death, the Senate erased his name. The writers twisted his story. They painted him as insane, a monster to justify their power. Yes, Nero killed rivals, even his own mother. But in ancient Rome, survival often demanded blood. Maybe Nero wasn't the monster we imagine. Maybe he was just a man, trapped in a burning city, and a legend he could never escape. They call her Bloody Mary, a name cursed in mirrors and whispered in fear. But before she was a ghost story, she was a queen, a daughter, a believer. Mary I of England lived in an age where faith divided kingdoms. Her father, Henry VIII, tore England away from the Catholic Church. Her half-brother pushed it further toward Protestantism. When Mary took the throne, she tried to heal her country by fire. Hundreds were burned at the stake, and her name was forever stained in blood. But here's what history forgot. Every ruler of that age did the same. Her sister, Elizabeth I, executed Catholics, yet she's remembered as the Virgin Queen. Mary was called a monster because her story was written by her enemies. Behind the fire and fear was a woman desperate to bring peace, and destroyed by the very flame she lit. His name strikes fear. Genghis Khan, the world's greatest conqueror and its most feared. His armies erased cities, left mountains of skulls and rivers of blood. But the other side of his story is rarely told. Genghis Khan built the first international postal system. He promoted religious freedom, and under his rule, trade flourished like never before. He wasn't just a destroyer, he was a builder, a man who dreamed of unity in a world torn apart. He connected the East and the West through the Silk Road, a network that changed civilization forever. Some called him a barbarian, but maybe he was the architect of the modern world, a man of brutal genius who carved order from chaos. Then there was Ivan the Terrible. The name alone sends chills through history. He built cathedrals of gold and rivers of red. Ivan began as a visionary, brilliant, reforming, bold. He brought law to chaos, gave structure to the Russian Empire. But when his beloved wife, Anastasia, died, something inside him broke. The man became a shadow of grief, paranoia, madness, rage. He turned on his own people, tortured nobles, executed allies, and in one fit of horror, struck his own son dead. The man who once dreamed of greatness became a prisoner of his own fear. And yet, he left behind a legacy that still shapes Russia today: a centralized government, a unified empire, a vision built on pain and fire. Ivan wasn't just terrible, he was human, and that may be the most terrifying truth of all. And finally, a name carved in ambition: Napoleon Bonaparte. A small man, they say, a short, angry emperor with a giant ego. But that's another lie of history. Napoleon was of average height, about 5'6". The myth of his size was crafted by his enemies. British propaganda meant to make him look small. But there was nothing small about his impact. He rose from a humble Corsican soldier to Emperor of France. He fought empires, reshaped Europe, and rewrote the rules of power. Yes, he waged wars that cost millions of lives. But he also ended feudalism, promoted education, and created the Napoleonic Code, a set of laws still influencing nations today. He wasn't just a conqueror, he was a reformer, a visionary, trapped inside a soldier's soul. He didn't just change borders, he changed how the world understood leadership itself. So, what makes someone infamous? Is it the blood they spill, the lies told after they die, or the stories we choose to believe? History is not written in stone. It's written by survivors, and survivors always need villains. But look closer, past the smoke, past the myths, and you'll see something else. These were not demons, not gods, not legends. They were humans, flawed, ambitious, terrified, just like us. That's the truth behind history's most infamous figures. They remind us that power can destroy, but it can also create. And behind every legend, behind every crown, every sword, every flame, lies a heartbeat. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden truth behind history's darkest legends, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us, which figure should we reveal next? Because in history, the truth is always stranger and far more human than the myth.